All right, guys. Looks like I'm live. Kindly let me know if I'm audible to everyone. Yes or no? Am I audible, guys? All right. Looks like yeah. Yes or no? All right. All right. So I can see the chat box. All right. A very good evening to all. I could see Ria have joined, Fertilisha have joined, Samarpita have joined, Kajal have joined. All right, guys, very good evening, wonderful evening to you all, guys. Today's setup is quite ordinary setup since I'm not sitting in my YouTube studio. We have a dedicated studio as well. However, due to some technical issues, we are supposed to do it in an ordinary setup itself. Yeah, but no issues. Abhi Ashisha, very good evening all. All right. So let me hear how are you all guys? कैसे हैं आप लोग? Guys, kindly let me know. All right. So shall we begin? Shall we begin, guys? Let me tell you guys, this session have been scheduled just for the sake of you get comfortable with the preparation you have ahead. You have your exams maybe on 6th of Jan, right? If I'm not wrong. So the reason we are here with this session. All right. All right. So let's begin with this wonderful session of today. तो जय हिंद दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे इस खूबसूरत से प्लेटफॉर्म टाइम टू करियर में। मैं सी रूपक मिगलानी, आपका साथी, आपका दोस्त, आपका मेंटर, आपका होस्ट स्वागत करता हूं आपके इस फेवरेट से चैनल टाइम टू करियर में। So friends, today we're going to understand about the standard costing. We're going to have a quick recap of standard costing, right? As far as our previous discussion, as far as our previous discussions on standard costing is concerned, my dear friends, we have covered a brief introduction of standard costing earlier. Yes or no? Yes or no? We have covered a brief introduction about standard costing in our earlier classes. Yeah. Now let us have a quick recap about what we discussed. My dear friends, why we study standard costing, that was the first thing that we actually understood in our previous class, right? What is this standard costing is? क्या है standard costing? क्यों पढ़ते हैं? My dear friends, मान के चलिए कि आपको अपने फ्रेंड के बर्थडे पार्टी में जाना था और आपने उस चीज के लिए एक एस्टिमेट बनाया था कि I'll go to the party and I have this much of amount expected जो खर्च होंगे, बट आप जब बर्थडे पार्टी में गए तो खर्च कुछ और ही हो गए, चाहे उसके लिए गिफ्ट लेना हो चाहे कुछ और, राइट? So my dear friends, what you have expected and what actually has happened, the difference between these two, this is referred to as variance, right? When we talk about the corporate, when we talk about the big companies, big corporates, my dear friends, this variance has to be analyzed in a better way. And for this for the proper analyzing of this variance, first of all we need to compute what is the difference between expected thing that has expected thing that was company was expecting and what actually has happened in comparison with the expectations, right? So the difference between both of these referred to as variance, right? Now the question arises, why do we compute the variance? Why do we compute the variance? My dear friends, in a corporate world or when you do business, let us consider that everybody is looking forward for improvement in his or her life, right? Be it an individual, be a small businessman, be a big business or big corporate, right? Everybody is looking forward for some sort of improvement because they want to increase the profitability, right? So this variance are such things which may decrease your profitability or which may significantly increase your profitability. So in order to improve your profitability factor, you need to understand first of all what is the variance, number one thing, right? Now what decision you make from those variance is another factor, so that to improve your profitability. I think this was the discussion that we did. Yes or no? Yes, everyone. Kindly keep on interacting with me in the chat box so that I can understand whether you are in line with me or not. Yeah. All right. Patilisha, Kajal, Samarpita, and all. Yes. So we discussed a whole lot of stuff about the introduction. We covered introductory part of the standard costing and what we refer to as standard cost. Nehal Gautam is also replying. Wonderful, guys. Okay. Why do we study standard costing? We discussed it with whole lot of examples. I did remember I took the Priyanshu's example, right? So we discuss these things. Now the second stuff that we discussed was about the process of standard costing, right? Now how we actually process or how we ascertain the variance, or how we actually come to the conclusion that we have this much of variance coming out of the difference between expected and actual, right? These were the process that we have discussed in a very brief way. So my dear friends, let me not elaborate much on the introductory part, because we have already covered. Even though some of the other things which were left, we will cover it today, right? So let me directly take you to the things which is very much important from your exam point of view, right? So yeah. So friends, now friends, we are well versed with this thing that we study standard costing because we need to ascertain the variances, right? And why do we ascertain the variances? इतनी मेहनत क्यों करते हैं? Because we ascertain the variance because we are keen to know our position, the status of our profitability. Variance may significantly increase our profitability, or variance may significantly decrease our profitability. In order to understand that situation, we compute the variances. Yes or no? And what are the different types of variances that we compute? My dear friends, there could be revenue variances and there could be cost variances. When I talk about revenue variances, this is nothing but the expected sales and the actual sales, the difference between both of this is nothing but revenue variances. Now, when we talk about the cost variances, the expected cost and the actual cost, the difference between both of this, we consider it as cost variances. Now, my dear friends, there are further classification and further bifurcation under the cost variances, which we're going to study today with the help of example. Yeah, are you there with me, guys? Yes or no? Hope the things are pretty much clear till here. Yeah. Shall we begin our main part of today's class? Kindly let me hear, guys. Yes or no, everyone? All right, all right. So let us go further. My dear friends, as far as your syllabus is concerned, I'm specifically talking about the managerial accounting which you have in your syllabus. My dear friends, first of all, let us understand what are the different sort of cost variances we have. My dear friends, material cost variances. We discussed about what is material cost. Yes, a bit in detail. We discussed it in detail. Yes or no? We discussed about direct material, right? We also discussed about the labor cost, right? we also discussed about the overhead cost, right? When we talk about material, what comes under material? There are direct material, right? When we talk about labor, direct labor, right? The cost which are directly associated with the cost of with the production, those thing are those cost refers to as the direct cost. It may be direct material or it may be direct labor, right? Now there is one more cost which we have discussed earlier, which is overhead cost. It is nothing but these are the indirect cost, right? So friends, if we talk about material cost variance and labor cost variance, there are further classification. As far as overhead cost variances are concerned, my dear friends, it does not come under the syllabus of your SAM 1, right? This is not the part of your syllabus. What I'm talking about, overhead cost variances. So we will touch upon only two cost variances, which are material cost variance and labor cost variance, right? Material cost variance and labor cost variance. Now, what could be material cost variance according to you? As in a simple layman language, what could be material cost variance? Kindly, guys, I have forwarded you the notes in the WhatsApp group. So kindly open the notes and remain with me where I'm explaining you. Remain in that page only. Yeah. What could be material cost variance according to you? My dear friends, first of all, let us once again discuss about what is variance. Variance is nothing but the thing which was expected, right? And what actually is happening, the difference between both of this is nothing but this is referred to as variance. If we talk about cost variance is nothing but the expected cost that should have happened. However, the actual cost slightly differs from the expected one. Now the difference between both of this is nothing but a cost variance. If I talk about material cost variance, it is nothing but the expected cost of material, right? And the actual cost of material, the difference between both of this could be or not could be, but it is actually a material cost variance, right? So you will encounter a word known as standard, repeatedly in your this lecture or in this chapter, right? So with standard we refer to as the budgeted or estimated, right? So material cost variance is nothing but the standard or budgeted or expected less the actual cost of material. This is nothing but the material cost variance, right? This is nothing but the material cost variance, right? Now, my dear friends, the variance can be adverse also and it can be favorable also. Yes, the variance can be adverse also and favorable also. Let us assume a situation that that while going to the college or while taking the admission in the college, you must have expected a lot of things, right? Or you must have expected things which were committed to you, right? Now when you actually took the admission in the college, three months down the line, or after 3 months, you observe that things are significantly differing from what it has been communicated to you or what it has been committed to you, right? So there is a difference. Yes. So what type of difference we can call this as? We can call this difference as adverse difference, right? Now let us mold this example. Let us take one more example. Let us assume you decided to manufacture a product. You decided to manufacture a product for which you estimated that 1 lakh would be the cost. You estimated that 1 lakh would be the cost. However, in real, the cost was 1,20,000. So how much it is differing? It is differing 20,000. The difference is 20,000. So what is this? Is this adverse or favorable? Friends, the cost is on the higher side. right, from what it was expected. So this is obviously a adverse variance. Yes or no? Now let us remold this example that you expected that manufacturing a product would cost 1 lakh. However, on an actual basis, it cost you around 80,000. Now what is the difference? Again, the difference is 20,000. But what type of difference it is? It is a favorable difference. It is not an adverse difference. Yes or no? Everyone agree? Yes? Riya, Fatilicia, Snehal, Samarpita, Kajal, everyone guys, kindly reply to me. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to explain you? Yes or no? Kindly reply, guys. I need the answer from rest of the people, rest of the other people. All right, all right. Atoshi is also here. All right, guys. Guys, I wanted to show you my really wonderful setup of YouTube. However, due to technicalities, I cannot take the class over from there, right? So the reason it seems quite ordinary class today. The next class would be from the studio. You will enjoy, right? I'm sure about that. So till that time, kindly bear with me. All right, guys. So we discussed about material cost variance. My dear friends, under material cost, there are further classification. There are further classification for classification of price, the material price, and material usage, right? Now, what is this material price and material usage? Friends, as we discussed that this class would be a marathon class since we have exams coming, right, in the near future. So kindly understand the things which I'm trying to explain you, right? And I'm not using any sort of whiteboard or something like that today. So my dear friends, under material cost variance, there are further two classification. Number one is material price and material usage. What could be material price variance? What could be material price variance? All right. What could be material price variance, my dear friends? At the same time, I'm trying to watch the comments as well. So material price variance. Let's assume that you expected the per unit cost would be 10 rupees. However, when you actually started making the product, it cost you around rupees 12, right? Now there is a difference, right? So the difference of price of material, this is nothing but a material price variance. Now material usage variance, what is this? For example, my dear friends, in order to manufacture a product like this is a cup, right? In order to manufacture a product like this, you require 10 items of raw material. I'm just giving you an hypothetical example, right? For manufacturing a product, you require 10 units of raw material, right? This is the standard, this is the budgeted. However, in real, when you actually started manufacturing the product, what has happened? That you required 12 items of raw material in place of 10. So this is what? This is the usage variance, right? This is the usage variance. Okay, hope you are getting my point. The difference between material price variance and material usage variance, right? We're going to come under the question. We're going to solve the question as well, so need not to worry. However, I need to make you clear about the concepts as well, right? जितने मैं क्वेश्चंस यहाँ पे बताऊंगा वो क्वेश्चंस आप सॉल्व कर लीजिएगा. दैट विल बी इनफ फॉर यू फॉर द एग्जाम प्रिपरेशन. Let me talk about the labor cost variance, my dear friends. Again, there are further three classification under labor cost variance. However, we need to study only two types of variance, that is labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance, because the idle time variance has not been covered under your syllabus, right? So again, what is labor rate variance, right? For example, you are a contractor, right? You have a project which you need to hand over to your client, right? Let's suppose the construction of a residential building, for which you required a labor. You expected that you will get the labor for 500 per day per labor, right? You expected that you would get the labor 500 per day per labor, right? However, when you actually started constructing your residential site, it cost you around rupees 700. So is there a difference between both of this? Yes, you expected that it could have been 500. However, it actually cost rupees 700. So this is the difference, and we will classify this difference under labor rate variance. Under labor rate variance, right? Is that clear to everyone? Ria, Fatilicia, Snehal, Atoshi, everyone, guys, is it clear? Yeah. Now labor efficiency variance. Okay, what is this? Let us assume a situation. My dear friends, you decided to manufacture a product, right? You decided to manufacture a product in 1 lakh quantity, right? And you expected that one labor would manufacture 10 items a day, right? One labor can manufacture 10 items a day. This was your estimate. This was your standard. This was your budget, right? When I speak of when I tell you about standard, what does it mean? It means the budgeted. It means the estimated part, right? So this is the standard that one labor can make 10 units of item. However, when you actually started manufacturing the product, you observe that labor are making only 8 units in place of 10 units a day. So there is a difference. What is the difference? 2, 10 and 8. Now what sort of difference is this? This is nothing but this is the efficiency variance. This is the efficiency difference, right? For example, let's suppose if labor in the entire working cycle of 6 to 7 hours, labor waste half an hour a day, then that is considered as normal. But if labor is sitting idle, they are watching reels on Instagram, they are wasting 1 to 2 hours daily, then obviously the efficiency will going to decrease, right? So in order to keep a check, in order to keep a control over them, we need to ascertain the variance, right? In all this discussion, my dear friends, you must have observed that why we are actually focusing more and more on variances, because variances will help us to ascertain our actual position, right? Which will help us to improve our profitability, or which will help us to ascertain what actually went wrong, that we got this much of profit instead of some X profit. Did you get my point? So this is the idea behind variances. This is the idea behind standard costing, right? So my dear friends, as far as the variances are concerned, material cost variance is the part of your syllabus. Labor cost variance is part of your syllabus. Overhead cost variance is not the part of your syllabus. Under material cost, we have two variances: material price variances, material usage variances. Under labor cost variances, we have three variances. However, labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance is the only thing which we need to consider for our exam point of view, right? So in our today's discussion, we're going to further solve some sort of question which will help us to understand the price variance, the usage variance, the labor rate variance, and labor efficiency variance. Yes, did you get the point, guys, till here? Overall brief about the standard costing. Did you get the point? Yes or no? Come on, let me hear some noise in the comment section, guys. Yes or no? Yes, guys, let me hear fast. Any doubt till here? I discussed an overall brief about the thing, right? Guys, as I see you every time, that do not hesitate to ask me the question, right? I enjoy teaching only when you understand the things. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's go ahead, my dear friends. Okay. Now, my dear friends, try to understand that आप लोग ने स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग जितने भी सीनियर्स लोग से, आई यूज द लैंग्वेज बायलिंगुअल, राइट? सो फर्टिलिशन नीड नॉट टू वरी, आई रिपीट द थिंग्स इन इंग्लिश एज वेल. फ्रेंड्स, आप लोग ने अपने सीनियर से सुना होगा जब कभी भी कि स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग तो यार बहुत भारी चैप्टर है, समझ ही नहीं आता है. बट माइंड इट, द मोस्ट इजिएस्ट चैप्टर इज स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग. क्यों? क्योंकि करना क्या है, आपको वेरिएंस निकालना है, डिफरेंस. अरे डिफरेंस निकालना है, लॉजिकल चलोगे ना, यू नीड नॉट टू मग अप दी formulas for that, right? So my dear friends, what I'm trying to convey you that standard costing is quite easy, but what you need to do is that just open up your mind, right, and think logically. You will end up getting the variances, right? So about the material cost variance, right, about the material cost variance. Now there are, how many things are there? There are, so let us directly jump to the question, my dear friends. Or let's discuss one by one. Under material cost variances, there is one material price variance. Material price variance, right? How we compute the same? My dear friends, the standard cost, the budgeted cost less the actual cost. This will help you to understand about the variance, right? Now we need to understand the price variance. So what we're going to do, what was the standard price and what was the actual price? Let's suppose 10 rupees was the budgeted price which you actually estimated. However, 8 rupees is the actual cost which has actually happened. Now the difference between both of these two is 2, right? This is the price variance. However, in order to understand the entire impact, the impact as a whole, we need to multiply that with the number of quantities that have been produced on an actual basis, right? So formula becomes that the standard or the budgeted price minus actual price into actual quantity, right? This how we calculate the price variance. Do you understand the logic behind this? Do you understand the logic behind this? That for computing the price variance, we are calculating the difference between the price per quantity, per item, right? Standard price minus actual price. However, to understand the entire impact as a whole, we need to multiply it with the actual quantity. As simple as that. Now the formula becomes actual quantity into standard price minus actual price. This is how we compute the material price variance. Is that clear till here? Is that clear till here, guys? Yes or no? Yes. Guys, kindly stop me where you did not get any point, right? So that I can repeat the same for you. Okay. Now, material usage variance. Material usage variance. Now, what did we discuss about material usage variance? My dear friends, we discussed that the consumption in quantity. Suppose you required 10 units to produce a product, right? However, in actual, you land up using 12 units of item for producing that single product. So again, there is a variance. How much? There is a variance of 2, right? So friends, what we have to do, we have to understand what were the standard quantity that you suppose for producing 1 lakh units of finished good, you expected that 50,000 units would be required. 50,000 units of raw material would be required for producing 1 lakh units of output. Now in actual, what has happened? You land up you'll end up required in on actual, when it come to actual basis, you actually required how much quantity in place of 50,000? You required 70,000 units to produce 1 lakh unit of output, right? So 50,000 was budgeted and 70,000 were actual, right? So this is the difference. This is what the variance is. However, to understand its impact, right? What we are trying to find out, we are only trying to find out the usage variance, right? So the difference between the quantity when it is multiplied by the standard price, not the actual price. Mind it, we are ascertaining the usage variance. In order to ascertain the usage variance, we need to multiply it with the budgeted price, the standard price, right? And when we multiply that with standard price, we get the usage variance. So this question should not come up, guys, that why, sir, why did not we multiplied it with the actual price in place of standard price? Since we are computing the usage variance, right? So we will consider standard price. Did you get my point? Yes. Did you get my point till here, guys? Let me hear, please. I'm in the question now. Did you get my point, everyone? Ria, Snehal, Atoshi, Fertilicia. All right, one more person. I always make a mistake in pronouncing his or her name. Rinitlang. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. All right, guys. So friends, kindly open this page. Kindly come to the illustration 1, right? I hope you all have got the notes of this, right? Come on this illustration 1. Everyone, come on the illustration 1. सब लोग illustration 1 पे आए. We'll understand this with the help of example. Everyone, guys, kindly open your notes and come on the illustration 1. And once it is done, kindly give me the thumbs up on the in the chat box. Sir, page number क्या है ये? 13.18. Ria, 13.18. Guys, everyone on the same page? Everyone on the same page? Yes or no? Let me hear some noise in the comment section, guys. Come on, cheer up. 2024 is about to go. All right. So, my dear friends, what we need to understand, what we need to compute in this illustration is the cost variances, right? Now, it has been specifically mentioned that we need to work on the material cost variances, right? So we have understood that there are two things: material price variance and material usage variance. Now, let's see the standard and actual figures of product ZR is under, right? These are the standard thing and these are the actual thing. When I say standard are nothing but these are the expected or budgeted, you can call it. Now, now for making product Z, what you require this much of quantity, 50 units. However, when you actually started making it, you required 45 units instead of 50 units. Okay. The price per unit was budgeted as 1 rupee. However, the price per rupee when you actually entered in making the product Z, it was rupees 0.80. Now, Compute the material cost variance. How we going to calculate the material price variance? Everyone, come on, solve it on your own, guys. Guys, come on, solve it on your own. You see that how we compute material price variance, the standard price per unit minus the actual price per unit, right? This how only this only we can this how only we can get the variance, the difference between the standard, the budgeted, and the actual one. Yes or no? The standard price per unit minus actual price into multiplied by actual quantity, multiplied by actual quantity. Yes. So when you multiply it by actual quantity, you get the material price variance. Look at here. Actual quantity multiplied by when we standard price minus actual price, whatever the difference comes up, 20 paisa multiplied by actual quantity. So this would be the variance. Now, what is this? Is this variance favorable or adverse? अच्छा है कि बुरा? ये आपने सोचा था कि 50 रुपए में बनेगा, लेकिन बन कितने में गया? बन कितने में गया? 45 इंटू 0.80, कम में बन गया। तो कम में बन गया तो अच्छा है कि बुरा है? I have logged in from Ruchitra's ma'am phone. She is Ruchitra Singh, so that's me. I've asked you the question: is this good or bad variance, guys? Yes, Ria is saying good. Yes, this is good, right? So, my dear friends, why this? What we actually understood. First of all, how we compute the variance. Further, how we compute the material price variance. Next part is to understand whether it is favorable or adverse situation. And on the basis of favorable and adverse situation, you would be able to make that decision in your business. This is the idea behind the standard costing. Hope you have got the point. Absolutely, this is favorable. Let's move on to the next part and let's compute the material usage variance. How do we compute the usage variance? The standard quantity less actual quantity multiplied by standard price, multiplied by standard price. Okay, look at here. Standard quantity less actual quantity, when multiplied by standard price, you get to know about the usage variance, right? Now, sir, why don't we multiply it by actual price? My dear friends, we are actually computing only the usage variance, that we need to understand how the consumption was, right? How the consumption was. In order to ascertain that, we need not to consider the actual price, we need to consider the standard price, right? So what is the usage variance? Usage variance is again rupees 5. Rupees 5. Now tell me, is this favorable or adverse? Is this favorable, my dear friends, or adverse? When I say usage variance, क्या ये अच्छा है या बुरा? Yes, guys, kindly let me hear. Yes, guys, I need your reply in the chat box. Material usage variance. Everybody is able to compute the same. Did you get the point? Yes. This is also favorable. Fertilisha is saying, sir, favorable. Yes. Material usage variance is also favorable, or you can call it good. So my dear friends, whenever you solve this question and when you get this sort of question, you will for sure get this sort of question. So you need to write it that it is favorable or it is adverse, right? Now hope you understand the thing behind how we call that as favorable and understand adverse. See how easy it is. How easy it is? Yes or no? And if we were supposed to ask, if we were asked to calculate material cost variance, so nothing. Standard cost minus actual cost. How we compute the standard cost? The standard quantity into standard price and actual quantity into actual price. The difference between both of this would be the direct material cost variance. Nothing beyond that. Hope you have got the point. Yes or no, everyone? Kindly let me hear some noise in the comment section, guys. Yes or no? Did you get the point or not? Come on, cheer up, guys. सोमवार का दिन मैं आप सभी के साथ, आपका साथी, आपका दोस्त, आपका मेंटर, आपका होस्ट। मुझे जरूर से सुनना है कि आप लोग को ये चीजें समझ आई नहीं आई। Come on, let me have some reply. Kindly reply in the chat box, guys. First. Everyone, come on. Ria, Fertilicia, Kajal. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Guys, solve this question. I give you 2 minutes. I give you 2 minutes. Kindly solve this question. Not 2 minutes. I give you 5 minutes. Kindly try to solve this question. You know what? There is a slight delay when you go when you teach on YouTube live. There's a slight delay of 5-7 minutes or 2 minutes, right? So whatever I'm teaching, I'm able to see the chat box and all those things in relation to whatever I'm teaching after a slight delay of 2 minutes, right? So the reason I have to wait. Yes, guys, let's move to the question number 2, right? An XE manufacturing concern furnishes the following information. Standard. This is the standard figure. These are the standard figure that have been given to you, like the budgeted or the expected thing, right? Material for 70 kg of finished products. What it is saying, if you want to manufacture 70 kg of finished product, you would require 100 kg of inputs. This is what it means. And price of material is rupees 1. Price of material is rupees 1. Let me calculate the, let me open the calculator as well. Yes. Now the price of material is rupees 1 per kg. Output, the actual output is 2,10,000 kg, right? So actual output is output of finished goods. Student may get confused here. The material that were used were 2,80,000 kg. Cost of material was 2,52,000. Now, how do we calculate the cost variances here? Yeah, how do we calculate the cost variances here? My dear friends, first of all, you have to ascertain the standard input that will be required to manufacture 2,10,000 kg of finished output. Yes or no? So how are we going to calculate the same? How are we going to calculate the same? The standard inputs that is required for 2,10,000 kg of finished output. Guys, I give you 2 minutes. Come on, this is an interesting question. You may end up making the mistakes. So kindly take your 2 minutes and then we'll get back on this question once again. So my dear friends, what you have to do, you have to first of all ascertain these. Kindly listen to me carefully, guys, okay? Kindly listen to me carefully. Whenever you faces any sort of doubt, kindly comment in the chat box. First of all, you have to ascertain the standard input quantity required for manufacturing the output, actual output. The actual output is 2,10,000 kg. Now it says that for 100 kg you require 70 kg of inputs. Now when you actually 2,10,000, when you actually make the numeric or the numerical like this, 2,10,000 divided by 70 into multiplied by 100, you get the standard quantity of input required for actual output. Some might do 2,10,000 divided by 100 into 70. It's not like that. It should be like 2,10,000 divided by 70 into 100. This how you will ascertain what is the standard quantity that should have been required for manufacturing the 2,10,000 of output, right? So here you have computed what? Here you have got to know the standard quantity of inputs required for 2,10,000 kg of output. Now what you have to ascertain? Material price variance. So let's ascertain the material price variance first. Okay. Now the standard price per kg is 1 rupee per kg. Okay. Now what is actual price per kg? You have to compute it. 2,80,000 divided by 2,52,000, right? You will get 2,52,000 divided by 280. It should not be 2,80,000 divided by 252. Guys, 2,52,000 is the cost of material. What is the amount of quantity that have been? What is the quantity that have been used? 2,80,000. When you divide it, you get 0. I don't have the calculator, or this will be too long to solve it here. So I'm directly watching the solution here and explaining you further. So guys, the actual price which you will get would be 0.9 per kg, right? It was 1 per kg. However, actual is 0.9 per kg. Now, how are you going to compute the same? How will going to compute the price variance? The standard price per kg minus actual price into actual quantity that have been used. What was the actual quantity used? 2,80,000 kg. So what is the price variance? 28,000. Again, is this a favorable condition or adverse condition? My dear friends, it is obviously a favorable condition. Instead of 1 rupee, you are getting the cost of rupees 0.9 per kg. So it means there is a benefit of 0.10 per kg. So this is a favorable condition, right? This is a favorable condition. I hope the material price variance is pretty much clear to you. Now let us consider the usage variance. How do we compute the usage variance? The standard quantity that we expected less the actual quantity that have been used into standard price. So 3 lakh was the standard quantity that was expected to produce the X number of finished output, that is 2,10,000 kg of output. However, in actual it have been used 2,80,000. Again, multiplied by standard price. So again, this is what? This is a favorable condition. This is a favorable condition, right? Yes, guys. So we discussed about material price variance here and material usage variance. Now, how do we compute the material cost? When we talk about the material cost variance, it means the overall cost variance, right? Including price, usage, everything. So the standard cost for this was this much. However, the actual cost was this much. So again, the difference between both of this would be the variance. And again, this variance is favorable variance, right? This variance is again a favorable variance. My dear friends, what did I say? That when we talk about material cost variance, I mean it with that the overall variance in relation to the material, including price, usage, everything, right? So if you want to check whether you have actually solved the question right or wrong, for that you can do a simple check. Whatever material cost variance you have got, it should be equal to the material price variance plus material usage variance. If it remains equal, if this equation gets solved, it means that your answer to the question is correct. Yes. Guys, is there any doubt? Let me hear. Yes, guys. I want to know if you guys have any sort of doubt till here. Let me know so that I can solve. Kindly ask me in the chat box. Any doubt till here, guys? Yes or no? Everyone. Patilisha, Ria, Kajal, Rindralang, Saloni, Samarpita, everyone. No doubt? Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead, my dear friends. Let's go ahead. Okay. For now, you can skip this question. Illustration 3. Do not solve. You can solve, or you can once again try question number 1 and 2, what we have discussed till here, right? Because this much of advance, I mean, this is not that much of advance, but still you have to solve first all these questions number 1 and 2 which we have discussed just now, so that to have the basic clarity first and then jump to the advanced one. So for now, let us move to the labor cost variance. Let us move to the labor cost variance directly. Yes. My dear friends, labor cost variance can be computed in the similar fashion. How? Labor cost variance can have further classification. Number 1, labor rate variance. Number 2, labor efficiency variance, right? Let us not talk about the labor mix variance and labor yield variance for now. And labor idle time variance is not the part of your syllabus. So let us remain stuck to the labor rate variance and efficiency variance in simple terms, right? So it is similar to the material cost variance. Suppose if I want to compute the labor cost variance, what should be the formula or what should be the logic? The standard labor cost less the actual labor cost, the difference between both of this would be nothing but labor cost variance. Did you get the point? Now, what is labor rate variance? In the similar fashion like we computed the material cost variance, material price variance, it should be standard labor rate minus actual labor rate into actual hours, into the actual hours laborers have utilized, right? Actual hours we can say. In case of material price variance, it was actual output. In case of labor rate variance, it should be actual hours, right? Okay. And labor efficiency variance, in the similar fashion like we have discussed about the material usage variance, it should be like the standard hours less actual hours into standard price, right? In case of material efficiency or material usage variance, it was like standard rate, standard consumption or standard things required to produce an output minus actual consumption into standard price. In the similar fashion, we have labor efficiency variance. With the labor efficiencies, we are trying to understand how much efficient our labor is. That is the question. Okay. So directly jump into the question for now. A simple question. Are you here, guys? I'm into illustration 5. Come to page number 13.28. Come to page number 13.28, guys. Everyone. Hope everyone here with me. Yes, guys, kindly come to page number 13.28. Are you there with me or not, guys? Let me hear some noise in the comment box. Hope I'm properly audible, guys. I'm not getting your reply. Okay. So, a simple question of labor variance, right? Let us calculate the labor price variance or labor rate variance. How do we compute the standard rate? What is the standard rate? 50 per hour is the standard rate. What is the actual rate? How we compute the actual rate? 36,000, the actual wages that have been paid, and the actual hours. When we divide this, we get 36,000 divided by 900. What should be the actual then? It should be 40, right? So the standard rate per hour was 50. However, the actual rate per hour we computed as 40 rupees, right? So how do we calculate the labor rate variance? Standard 50 minus actual 40, okay, into actual number of hours, that is 900, which comes to 9,000, again. This is nothing but this is a favorable situation, okay. Now next is labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance. How do we calculate the efficiency variance? The standard hours 1000 minus actual hours 900 into the standard price, okay. 100 into 50, that is 5,000. Again, this is a favorable situation because in place of 1000 hours you're requiring only 900 hours to complete a task. So this is a wonderful situation, this is a favorable situation, right? So you have calculated the rate variance and efficiency variance. Did you get the point, guys? Yes or no? Everyone? Guys, kindly let me know whether did you get the point till here or not? Everyone, Fatilicia, Ria, Samarpita, Saloni, everyone, guys, let me have some noise in the comment section. Come on. Did you get the point till here? Yes or no? All right. All right. Now, my dear friends, yes. Let me take you to the, yes. This is the classification. This is the classification of variance. My dear friends, we discussed about the concept behind the cost, right? Why we call standard cost as a standard, right? We discussed about the same. We discussed about the variances, right? How do we compute that? We have further classification, material cost variance and labor cost variance. We discussed about the same. Overhead cost variance is not the part of our syllabus. We discussed about how do we compute material price variance and how do we compute material usage variance. How do we compute labor rate variance and how do we compute labor efficiency variance, right? We discussed till here, right? I hope this seems very much easy to everyone. We are left with only two things, material mix variance and material yield variance. Under labor, we are left with material labor mix variance and labor yield variance. This is also very much simple. But for now, we will end up our session here. we are yet to discuss all this thing, which we'll discuss in our later part of session, right? I hope the things were pretty much clear to everyone. Did you enjoy the session, guys? Yes or no? Let me hear some noise in the comment section. And if you enjoy the session and if you like the session, if it was helpful for you, so kindly give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Yeah. Yes, guys. Any doubt till here? All right. So guys, let's do one thing. Let's catch up in our next session, which I will discuss it with you all, right? And we will schedule a one more session, right? Probably in the new year, right? And we will have multiple discussions, right? And we will take the session, we will take that the next session from our YouTube studio, which will be very much good for all of us and for me also. Yeah. So we'll take our next session from our YouTube studio, and I'll update in the group about the session. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, guys, and wish you a very, very, very happy new year ahead, right? And I wish all the very best for your future endeavors. Though we are not in the Zoom class, but we are in the YouTube class now, so nothing makes there's no such difference. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me, and let's catch up in another session. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Jai Hind, dosto. Rupak Miglani signing off.